Howdy ho everybody, Phantom here, and I'm going to be reacting to a video called 5 Baffling and Unexplained Events from the Past. This video is by Town, and yeah, I may cut out the last one in this this video, so if you want to watch the original video in its entirety, you're going to have to click on the link down below. So it'll take you to this particular video on Snaptown's channel. And without further ado, let's see what let's see what these unexplained events are that took place in the past.
How you doing? I'm Callan and this is Slap Ham. Today we're once again looking at some unsolved cases. From detailed stories of a possible past life to a mysterious skull that might just be from out of this world. We take a look at 5 baffling and unexplained events from the past. But before we get into it, remember to hit that subscribe button for more awesome creepy content just like this. In Chihuahua, Mexico, sometime around 1930, a very strange discovery
A Star
was
Child
made.
skull.
A girl
I think I remember hearing about that.
Mine found the skull of a child hidden within the tunnels. What was especially unique about this skull was its unusual shape and size.
Oh yeah, I remember this. I remember this story.
Small and seemed to be
there was a documentary about this
what
particular
made it so unusual, however,
case.
was the fact that the skull had an abnormally large cranium, the size of which would normally be seen in an average adult. It also had other abnormalities, including shallow eye sockets.
I remember hearing about the story. I think also 1 or 2 documentaries about it. I can't quite remember the name of the documentaries, but I remember there was 1 or 2 documentaries that actually talked about this, and I think you'd be able to look them up.
Sockets, a lack of frontal sinuses, and the back of the skull was flatter than a normal skull. In February 1999, paranormal researcher Lloyd Pye obtained the skull. It was Pye's opinion that the abnormally shaped skull was proof of an alien-human hybrid. He launched a research project that he named the Star Child Project to prove his theory. It was determined that the skull was approximately 900 years old and had belonged
hey,
to
at least you know he's willing to
6 years old.
Well, at least you know the guy was willing to try and prove his theory, or hypothesis, whichever is the correct term. But hey, at least he was willing to try and prove his case to see if the skull is from a human alien hybrid.
Examination, it was discovered that the skull had a larger than normal inner ear, which could have resulted in this individual having the ability to hear higher sound frequencies than the average human. DNA testing also proved to be anomalous, with large amounts of the DNA not being found in any of the available databases. The skull was also found to have odd fibers in the bone when it was examined with an electron microscope. Pye considered all of this information to be proof that the skull was the result of an alien-human hybridization. Skeptics, however, disagreed. A Yale University neurologist believes the skull showed the characteristics of a child with hydrocephalus, which is a condition that causes the brain to accumulate fluid and the skull to broaden. The Star Child skull showed no signs of swelling or expansion, however, making it more likely that the child was born with an abnormally large cranium. Much controversy still surrounds this skull. Even today, it still has its fair share of believers and skeptics, and the Star Child project is still active today.
Yeah, I'm kind of 50-50 about that. Like, on one hand, I can see that being possible in some ways, because you never know that the child could have been like a human alien hybrid. But on the other hand, for all we know, the Star Child could very well just be 100% human, and might have had some form of birth disorder or something that could have given the Star Child an abnormally large head, and you can get one or two birth disorders that could possibly do that, such as elephant's disease or something.
On February 14, 1945, a
Witchcraft murder.
horrific violent act took the life of 74-year-old Warwickshire, England native Charles Walton. Witchcraft and revenge seemed to be at the heart of this terrible crime. Charles Walton spent most of his days working for several farms in the area. He was generally liked by the locals, but many thought that he was just a little strange, and there was even whispers that he was a practicing witch or occultist. It was said that Walton could call wild birds to his hand, and that he had the ability to tame feral dogs just with his voice alone. Walton had a deep understanding of local folklore and traditions, so much so that it, along with his uncanny ability with animals, made some of the more superstitious locals a little wary of him. Still, it didn't
Well,
seem
I
as
guess
if Walton had very many enemies. On the night of February 14th,
Yeah,
Walton...
that's probably because the locals are scared that he might, who are superstitious, probably think that he might generally have that he might have some abnormal powers. I think the only, I'm guessing the only power he probably has is probably animal magnetism. That's probably the only superhuman power he has. That which can explain why he's able to do that. So that's probably how he's able to do it, or something.
His niece Eddie arrived home at their cottage at around 6 p.m.
In case you're wondering, animal magnetism is basically where you can form a special connection with animals. That's basically what animal magnetism is. In case you're wondering.
Only to discover that her uncle hadn't arrived yet. This was highly unusual, and Eddie became concerned that her uncle had been in an accident or possibly fallen ill. She contacted a neighbour and they went to search for him. Walton had last been seen working on a farm in Meon Hill, an area known for mystical legends of ghostly hounds and sightings of the devil himself. Walton was quickly found dead in a ditch. His trouncing hook had been driven into his throat, a pitchfork was used to pin him to the ground, and a large cross was carved into his chest, creating a horrific bloody scene. It was believed by the local community, as well as law officers, that witchcraft may have been involved in the death of Charles Walton. Many speculated that whoever killed Walton did so in a ritualistic manner to break a curse or prevent bewitchment by Walton. It's interesting to note that during the investigation, police found a copy of the 1929 book, Folklore, Old Customs and Superstitions in Shakespeareland in Walton's cottage. The book refers to a man named Charles Walton dying of fright after encountering a ghost in 1885. Some people speculated that the Charles Walton mentioned in the book was the same Charles Walton who was murdered in 1945. The police were never able to identify a suspect in the murder, and the mysterious death of Charles Walton remains unsolved.
I guess whoever killed him probably thought he might place a curse on him or something, or thought he had cursed someone the murderer cared about, and if the person did kill him, they probably thought it might have been the only way to break some form of curse or something like that. And you never know, some people might be that superstitious, they might think that that's the only way they can break some form of curse or something.
Also known as the Grand
Okay.
Grimoire, the Gospel of Satan, and the Red Dragon,
That's
the Devil's Book is an ancient tome surrounded in supernatural mystery. No one in recent history has actually ever seen the book, but its existence is considered to be factual due to the fact that the Roman Catholic Church has made official statements of ownership. The book itself has a dark history. It was discovered in 1750 in Jerusalem within the tomb of Solomon, but it was thought to have been written somewhere around the year 1522 AD, based on a date inscribed within its pages. It was speculated that the book was actually copied from an earlier tome that was written sometime in the 1200s AD. The book that it was thought to have been copied from was the Sworn Book of Honorius. which was written by Honorius of Thebes sometime before 1227 AD. It was rumoured that Honorius was possessed by Satan with the sole purpose of writing the book, which gives detailed instructions on how to summon lesser demons as well as Satan himself to this realm of existence. There are a number of stories attached to the grimoire that claim that it has some sort of supernatural power all on its own. It's been stated that the book is resistant to any sort of harm, including incineration, cutting, and tearing. It's also considered to be the only book that gives accurate details on how to conjure Satan into a physical form. There are a number of books available today that claim to be copies of the Devil's Book, but ultimately no one will ever be able to verify any of the details about the original. The Grand Grimoire is keeping its secrets locked in the vaults of the Vatican's secret archives.
Well, I guess if you're someone who loves to read books and now I see one particular book you want to read, you're gonna have a tough time finding it. Because I doubt you're gonna be able to. Because I doubt you want to be able to check that book out. If you ever wanted to take a gander at it.
So are human Z's, chimpanzee human hybrids?
I heard about Oliver. This is about Oliver the chimp. I've heard about him. There's literally a documentary about Oliver the chimp as well. Yeah, basically Oliver the chimp is this one particular chimpanzee or chimp that's reported to be able to walk bipedally. Hello, sorry about the sudden stop like that. I kind of needed to go and relieve myself in the lavatory, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Anyway. Aside from that, yeah. There's literally there's literally a documentary about Oliver the chimp. It's basically where they mention about how Oliver the chimp could be like a missing link or something. How he could be like that sort of like a missing link between humans and primates or something. Because due to Oliver being able to walk bipedally and it's able to eat some human food or something.
According to some, the curious case of Oliver the chimp is proof of the existence of the human Z. Oliver first came to public attention when animal trainers Frank and Janet Berger acquired him in 1960. The Bergers immediately noticed some marked differences between Oliver and other chimps. Oliver was predominantly bipedal, more often walking on 2 feet rather than walking on feet and knuckles the way other chimps do. Oliver's face was also flatter, he had less hair, a smaller cranium, and a smaller chin than average chimps. Even more unusual was Oliver's behaviour. He preferred the company of humans to chimps, and he was known to enjoy the occasional cocktail. It was even thought that Oliver preferred human females to female chimpanzees as potential mates. The Bergers had to sell Oliver when he was 16 years old due to an increasing fixation on Janet Berger. His new owner, Michael Miller, featured him as the missing link in several exhibits before selling off.
Did anybody ever try to sell him or pass him off as the dwarf of Bigfoot's? Because Oliver the chimp looks like he could be like a. He looks like you could pass him off as a dwarf version of Bigfoot. If you got like a Bigfoot who's like half the size. Because like Oliver the chimp looks like he could be nearly half the size of a Bigfoot or something. Because some Bigfoots are rumored to be like anywhere from 7 to 10 feet tall.
Oliver to Ken DeCrew, owner of the Wild Animal Training Centre. DeCrew sold Oliver in 1985 because he didn't get along well with other chimps in the exhibit. Oliver was then purchased by the Berkshire Corporation, a leasing facility for lab animals, in 1989. He was confined to a lab cage for 9 years before making his way to Primarily Primates, an animal sanctuary, in 1998. Oliver lived there peacefully until he passed away on June 2nd, 2012.
Oh.
So what exactly was Oliver? Some individuals firmly believe that Oliver was a human-chimp hybrid. At least two DNA.
Yeah, in case you wonder, that's basically what a humancy is. A humancy is basically someone is basically an entity or creature that's reported to be part human and part chimpanzee. If you combine a male human with a female chimpanzee, you get a humancy or man-pansy. But if it's like a male chimpanzee and a female human, then the hybrid will be known as a human. And that's basically those basically the two different names you can give a human chimp hybrid that scientists give when they're coming up with the name, the hybrid names. When they put the father at the beginning of the plateau and the mother second. So if it's a male chimp and a female human having an offspring, the offspring would be a human. Then the hybrid would be known as a human. But if it was a male human and a female chimpanzee, the offspring would be a humancy or man-pansy. Yeah, man-pansy.
Tests were performed, with one claiming that Oliver had the normal 48 chromosomes of a chimp, while the other claimed that he only had 47 chromosomes, falling between the chimpanzee 48 and the human 46. Scientists state that Oliver's physical traits fall within the normal range of common chimpanzee traits, but theorists argue against this point, noting that Oliver had numerous unusual physical traits, not just one or two that might be found in normal chimps. The mystery of Curious Oliver is still debated today.
Well, that was certainly interesting, wasn't it? But yeah, there's something cut in a video like that, roughly halfway. That was actually because I needed to go and relieve myself in the lavatory, which is enough said. But yeah, I cut the last one of this video, so if you want to watch this entire video, the 5 baffling and unexplained events from the past video, the link will be in the description box down below. It will take you to this particular video on Slaptown's YouTube channel. And yeah, hope you all enjoyed the reaction video, and till next time, goodbye for now.